When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
Welcome back. As the start of the new school season is less than a week away, the English Montreal School Board is set to launch a new virtual school for students who want to take their learning online. The chair of the English Montreal School Board, Joe Ortona, joins us now. Joe, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about this new school you're launching online.
Well, we're very excited because obviously, a lot of people worked really hard to get this done. There was a lot of lobbying done with the ministry. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we were able, to get them on board, and we worked hand in hand in order to make this a possibility. So we're going to be offering this. It's going to be for students all across Quebec who have English eligibility, of course, but who are either in specific programs that make it such that, being in person isn't possible, or for specific courses, or for those, who are immunocompromised and can't be in school.
So you listed some of these reasons. Is that the main motivation? What's behind this at this juncture?
Well, the main motivation was, as the COVID restrictions are being lifted and everything is going back to in person more and more, we understand that there are still children who were vulnerable and who are at risk being around others because they're immunocompromised and they have certain illnesses and things like that. So that was the main motivation. But we came to realize that we could expand this a little bit further, and offer it to, for example, children who are in sport études, but they're traveling, and so at the time of their travel for their sport activities, they can't necessarily be in class. So we can offer that temporarily to them too. So it's only a good thing if the kids are within the realm of being in a virtual classroom, right, and they're still continuing to learn.
Did you find, so during the pandemic, you had virtual classes, right? Did you have them? Okay.
Yeah, we did, and not immediately, but we did.
But you did. And so there's some criticism, and I'm not saying directed at EMSB, but I'm sure you heard about this. It's, online learning. There were issues with online learning that maybe the students weren't paying as much attention, and so how do you make sure that these classes will actually be followed and you keep the students engaged?
Well, I did hear that, and I just want to give a counterpoint.
Okay.
I also heard from some parents that their children did better when they were in virtual school.
Interesting.
So I do find that interesting. Now, I think from most of the experts that I've consulted, and the data shows that the most effective way of educating children is in person in the classroom, and we recognize that, and we're certainly not advocating for a complete shift to virtual online learning for everyone. But we're recognizing that for some people that's just not possible for some children. So virtual learning is better than not being in school at all. And so we have obviously a responsibility to make sure that the children are learning properly, that they're kept that they're up to date, that they're not falling behind. Follow-ups have to be done to ensure that that they're learning at the same pace as everybody else, that they continue to be engaged, and that their grades continue to be as good as they should be.
And what about the social component? Just the isolation. What's your response to that?
Well, again, for some people it's only a temporary thing, when they're traveling for sport études, or if they're in a really rural neighborhood for a rural area of Quebec where they're taking a specific course that isn't offered there. They can't obviously travel to Montreal if they're really far. Of course, there's a social aspect. The children socialize in school. They socialize with the teachers as well, and that's important to create those friendships and links. And but we also have to recognize that some children are immunocompromised, and so we have to offer them the best opportunities that's available to them. We hope that sometimes that may be a temporary thing for a child, and hopefully he'll be better, and then he can go to school in person and be able to have that experience as well. So, we have to make sure that teachers obviously have to keep a link with the students and try to engage with them socially in other ways, and obviously parents and families have to come together to do that too, and make sure that the children have as much of a normal experience as possible when it comes to education and when it comes to socialization.
So you mentioned immunocompromised children. You mentioned sport études. Any other clienteles that will be eligible? People
who are children who are in far rural areas of Quebec, that if they need to take a specific course or they qualify for a specific course that isn't necessarily offered at their school board, that we offer, so we could offer that to them. Obviously, it would be virtual if they're from let's say 5 hours out of Montreal. The sport études and the immunocompromised children. Right. Our hope is that we're able to demonstrate that this is a program and that it's going to be successful, and perhaps maybe the ministry could look at expanding that beyond these criteria. Who knows? But obviously, we're confident that this is going to work out really, really well, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Great. So, is registration open now?
Registration is open, I believe, now, and they have to register to September. They have until September 9th to register, and so we'll see how it goes, and we'll adjust as need be accordingly. But we're confident that this is going to work well. A lot of people worked really hard on this from our board and at the ministry as well to get this done.
Oh, sounds very interesting. Well, I have you on. I've got two different topics I want to ask you about. Just before you came on, we had this great conversation with our listeners about this article in La Presse this morning talking about cell phones in classes. What's your take on that?
Well, it's definitely a challenge now. So many kids have cell phones. No child had a cell phone back when I was in high school. Now kids have them in elementary school as well. Yeah. Look, if you want my opinion for what's in the best interest of the child, I mean, those phones should be put away. Yeah. They're obviously a distraction. If they're texting with their friends or sharing videos and things like that, they're losing out on the educational experience. So being strict and if the kids have the phone in class and they're not supposed to, having it taken away for the day, I'm not opposed to that.
Mm-hmm. And school buses. Last week, the government announced there was a deal. We found out there wasn't really a deal. There were some deals, but other deals weren't done yet. Now we get another announcement yesterday that there are deals. Everything is solved. What's the situation from your point of view?
It's like 11:59, but my understanding is there is a deal. It is finally finalized. I think the minister jumped the gun there when he said there was a deal. I think there was an agreement in principle, and then they realized that there's still some other roadblocks to work out. But it's finally all done. We're obviously happy that it's in time for the start of the year, because parents would have been. For some parents, it would have been a problem. They rely on the school bus because not everybody can bring their kids to school. So it is finalized. We're actually going to have a special board meeting on Monday to approve all of this, and Tuesday school starts. So it's a go.
All right. Well, I wish you all the best to you, the entire team at the MSB for the new school year, and thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Joe Ortona, the chair of the English Montreal School Board,